So guys, it's that time for more Championship score predictions. Let's get started. What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. We made it to match day 41 of the Championship. In the second half of the video as well, whilst I predict the Championship fixtures, I'm also going to predict the Premier League fixtures for this weekend. All of this weekend's fixtures will be in the description down below, so you can pause the video and leave all your predictions, one correct score. You'll get a point on the Lexus Hall of Fame. And speaking of the Lexus Hall of Fame, this is what the Premier League division of the Lexus Hall of Fame looks like now. Only one of you got a point from the very few games we had on Tuesday. Well done, Creeper Boy, for getting the Brentford and Birmingham game right. I didn't get any right in those Tuesday games. I'm still first place, but it's mighty tie at the top. It's a 3-horse race. I'm also exclusively first place on BenHD's Patreon league as well, so I've got to really up my game as well in the next couple of weeks. This is what the Championship division is looking like, so Lisa is really close to closing into the Premier League division. So some interesting developments there. If you guys like what you see, please make sure you do give this video a like, tremendously helps. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe to the channel. We're agonizingly close to 450 subscribers. If we can get that this weekend, that'd be tremendously appreciated. And please share my channel as well. If we don't get 500 subscribers by the end of the season, I am going to quit the platform, but you guys have shown an incredible response so far. We got to keep that going. That would terrifically make my day. With any further ado, let's start predicting these games. So it starts off with a really big game in terms of the top 6 race. It's Watford going up against Reading. Watford had their winning streak halted by Middlesbrough, which was a 1-1 draw away from home. And Reading, they managed to get a 1-1 draw against Barnsley in their first game, but then they responded in a big way, beating Derby by 3-1. I say Watford with that draw against Middlesbrough, they looked pretty comfortable, you know, they got a pretty fortuitous goal and they did have some chances. They just tried to kill Middlesbrough off with their game management, waste time and just get a now 1-0 win. But maybe it's a lesson for Watford that they cannot just always rely on getting just one goal within it. They need to kill games to ensure that they do get the win. It has resulted in Cisco Munoz getting manager of the month. As with Reading, they've definitely got a lot of their attacking players fighting fit and they're definitely keen to try and stay into the top 6 race. Barnsley and Bournemouth are putting Reading under extreme pressure. But with this game, I do think Watford may edge this one for the fact they are home. They do have the best home record in the league after all. I think I'm going to slightly edge Watford for this one. I'm going to say 2-1 to the home side. FIFA 21 is predicting a boring 0-0 draw. To the early Saturday game, we've got Millwall going up against Swansea. Now, both these are seeing very contrasting runs of form, really. Millwall have been doing pretty well with their runs of form right now with 3 consecutive wins. By direct contrast with Swansea, they have lost 4 consecutive games in a row. And following their poor performances recently, it has allowed the club to boycott their whole social media for this week. I think it is a good response to stand up to the abuse that they did receive. But one thing Swansea can do to really get one over the fans is to have a very improved performance. They didn't have a single shot on target against Preston and didn't really look like scoring at all. And against a Millwall side where I think Swansea will relish getting a lot of the ball, they need to create chances off them and try and break down this very sturdy Millwall side. I've been keeping quite a few clean sheets in the last couple of games. I don't see many goal mouth action in this game, I won't lie. I might slightly edge Millwall actually for the fact that they are doing well with their runs of form and Swansea not be doing well. But heck, Swansea could go back to winning ways. It would be a typical Championship result. I'm going to say a 1-0 victory to Millwall actually. FIFA 21 is going to also say a 0-0 draw. So the first of the 3 o'clock games I'm going to talk about is Bournemouth going up against Coventry. Bournemouth have got a big opportunity now to try and get into the top 6 for the fact that Reading have got to play against Watford, where it will be very difficult for them to get maximum points. If they can get maximum points against a Coventry side with the poorest away record in the whole entire league, Bournemouth can overtake Reading and it'll put them in a fantastic position that they are in the top 6 nearing the closing stage of the season. As with Coventry, they picked up a fantastic win in midweek against Bristol City, scoring 3 goals past them as well. But away from home, as I did previously mention, they've been previously poor. Their last away performance was horrific, losing 3-0 against Queen's Park Rangers and pretty much creating nothing going forward. And even when they met all the way back in early September in the reverse fixture, Bournemouth were just classes and leagues above in terms of the quality of football, their press, their style of play, their passing, and I think it was shown in this game as well. I'm going to say 2-0 victory to Bournemouth. FIFA 21 is going to agree with me. Next up, we've got Barnsley going up against Middlesbrough. Once again, a big opportunity for Barnsley this time to see if they can really capitalise on Reading having a really tough game in this weekend and getting a good result. But they are facing a Middlesbrough side where it is never easy to get a result against them. They showed that great resilience to maintain the pressure they had against Watford and to get back into it. Yes, they only had one shot on target, but they still managed to get a goal from it. So Middlesbrough would definitely take a point from that. I don't think they'll get into the top 6 now. I think getting to the top 6 now is a bit out of their reach. So I think every game for the rest of the season for Middlesbrough is just them trying to see how high they can finish up the table. But as with Barnsley, they got something much bigger to play for. Middlesbrough away from home have not been doing well, losing their last 3 away games. But following this, I might just edge Barnsley, although Barnsley at home have not looked too convincing. I'm going to say 2-1 Barnsley. Very, very begrudgingly. It's really, really tight. FIFA 21 is predicting a 1-0 away victory to Middlesbrough. Next up, we've got Birmingham versus Stoke. With these two teams overall, Birmingham and Stoke are in entirely different positions. Birmingham would want to try and get maximum points. Every single game to them now is a cup final to try and ensure championship survival. And with their recent performances, you can really back Birmingham for that, for the fact they picked up 2 wins in their last 4 matches as well. Also with a fantastic 0-0 draw against Brentford as well. Stoke right now, I mean, they had a really poor away record, but they ended their 11 winless streak away from home by beating Bristol City by 2-0. I think Birmingham will be up for this, but I think if Stoke can get a good opportunity to Nick Powell, who's been their best player for me this season, then I think Stoke might get something. I'm going to say a 1-1 draw. I think they'll cancel each other out. FIFA 21 is going to say 2-1 Stoke. Next up is Bristol City going up against Nottingham Forest. Now, 2 teams in entirely different runs of form, really. Bristol City poor, Nottingham Forest fantastic, and Nottingham Forest now in 15th place. If they pick up their form, they can finish in a decent position, and I definitely said this when I went through the running of teams who I think could get relegated. I said that Nottingham Forest could potentially have a fantastic end to the season, and they're proving to have that right now, with back-to-back wins as well, with only 2 defeats in their last 6 games. And as with Bristol City, their home record is just abysmal. They've lost 6 home games in a row, a new club record. And if they're home again, then I don't think Bristol City will get anything. I'm going to say a 2-0 away victory to Nottingham Forest. Even if Bristol City scored their first goal in 4 games, I do think Nottingham Forest will prove too much for them. FIFA 21 has predicted a 0-0 draw. Next up, we've got Cardiff going up against Blackburn. Once again, both very entirely different positions of the table. Blackburn right now, with their poor run of form, they have really been starting to get dragged into the relegation picture. I don't think they will go down, but it is concerning for how quickly they are dropping down the table. They're 17th place. They're winless in their last 6 games as well. The last time they won was an away victory, actually, against Millwall. And I think this could be a similar game to when they play against Cardiff, because I think Millwall were in or around a similar position in the table when Blackburn got that win as well. And Cardiff at the moment, I mean, who knows what will happen to Cardiff? They've just got to respond after their 5-0 drumming against Sheffield Wednesday, where they offered close to nothing going forward. It was a very bizarre performance from this Cardiff side, and this goes under back-to-back defeats as well. They also lost at home against Nottingham Forest in the weekend, where they offered close to nothing there as well. So I'm not entirely confident of Cardiff gaining something in this game, even though Blackburn have been a team that have not really picked up many points. I'm going to say 1-1 draw, because Blackburn, whilst they have been winless in 6, they have picked up pretty competent performances. I thought Bournemouth, they were quite unlucky. Norwich, they were unlucky. So maybe they'll get something against Cardiff. FIFA 21 is predicting a 2-1 away victory to Blackburn, which will be a mad result. And then to the game where we can see Norwich get automatically promoted already. It's Derby going up against Norwich. Now, to explain what Norwich need to do, they need to win Derby. That is a must. But if Brentford do not get a result against Preston and Swansea do not get a result against Millwall, they will automatically wrap promotion. I think it's the quickest a team has wrapped automatic promotion since that Reading squad, and maybe the Leicester squad as well, where they picked up 105 points. Ridiculous, really. And if Norwich keep up their 100% form, they will end at 105 points, which is absolutely incredible, really. Very different season to last year, where it was a lot more tight and competitive. Derby, I think, have been a bit of a weird team for me to watch. At home, I actually don't think they've been performing that badly. Of course, I remember their recent 2-2 draw at home against Brentford, and their last home performance was a fantastic 2-0 win against Luton, although I think they were a bit fortunate in that. Of course, with Norwich, they'll be back with a 7-0 thrashing towards Huddersfield Town. I think their confidence is really up there. They're playing with that swagger now, but they're trying to wrap up automatic promotion as soon as they can. But I do think Derby will restrict it. I'm actually going to say a very tight 1-0 away victory. I remember when Leeds had that swagger to try and get automatically promoted, and their last 2 games were very tight and cagey 1-0 wins. 1-0 against Swansea and 1-0 against Barnsley before they were eventually automatically promoted. So I think it'll be a very similar game to that. FIFA 21 is actually going to agree with me. Next up, we've got a Yorkshire derby with Huddersfield going up against Rotherham. Now, the reverse fixture was very devastating for Rotherham's part. I remember it well. They were 1-0 up to Ben while scoring a very nice clean goal. But Angus MacDonald with an own goal in the 96th minute was absolutely devastating. And honestly, if Rotherham had those 2 points right now, they'll be looking even more confident, and they can definitely get out the predicament that they find themselves. I mean, Huddersfield got to respond after their 7-0 thrashing against Norwich. If they don't respond, then they can definitely get dragged back into this, and it's not done their goal difference any favours either. But for the fact, if they do get a win, I think they will confirm survival. I think both of these teams will be up for this game, so it's really tight to call a winner. I'm going to say a 1-1 draw. In the lead up to this video, I've been changing that particular prediction about 3 to 4 times. I'm going to eventually compromise with a 1-1 draw. FIFA 21 saying 0-0. Next I've got Preston going up against Brentford. Now the reverse fixture for this game was mad to say the least. It was when Ivan Toney put Brentford 2-0 up. I think Ivan Toney's first double for Brentford as well. This was when Toney started to get his swagger on in this season. But Preston scored 4 second half goals. It was Scott Sinclair with a quick fire double, Brad Potts and even Sean Maguire scoring the goals. And in that game, I remember it vividly, Brentford really punished Preston defensively, but it was literally roles reversed in the second half. And what Preston did really well was hitting Brentford on the counter-attack. And that's how Preston have been getting their good performances lately. That 1-1 draw against Norwich, that 1-0 victory against Swansea as well. They've done really well with playing against the top 4 teams in the table. For the fact that they've not even lost a single one of those games, you've got to give Frankie McAvoy and Preston some credit. They've now got to play Brentford, where I don't really back them with too much confidence. They've had 4 consecutive draws now and are now 9 points behind Watford. If Brentford do not get a win in this game, it does open the door for Norwich to get automatically promoted, and I do think they'll run out of games to try and catch up with the likes of Watford. I can see Brentford really pushing Preston, but I can also see Preston hitting Brentford on the break, and they'll get a result. This might be crazy, but I'm actually going to back Preston for a win. I'm going to say a 2-1 home victory to Preston. FIFA 21 is predicted another 0-0 draw. FIFA 21 has been very stingy with goals. Next up is Queen's Park Rangers going up against Sheffield Wednesday. Now, in terms of Queen's Park Rangers, if anyone thought that they can back them getting into the top 6, I think their 3-1 defeat against Nottingham Forest proves that they cannot get to the top 6 this season. I think they've just been a bit too inconsistent. With Sheffield Wednesday, who knows what they're going to perform? They scored 5 goals past Cardiff, the lowest scorers in the league, may I remind you. So it was a result I don't think anyone saw us coming. So unbelievable, really. In the reverse fixture, this was also a 1-1 draw, and I remember, I think it was Queen's Park Rangers with a very late equaliser with a Macaulay Bond header, and this was when Sheffield Wednesday were desperate to try and get rid of their points deduction. Heck, if Sheffield Wednesday picked up 2 more points for that, then they would be in 22nd place right now with a good chance trying to survive the season. This is really Groundhog Day for Sheffield Wednesday now. They need to treat every single game like a cup final, likewise with Birmingham. So they definitely will be looking for 3 points in this game. I don't think they're going to quite have enough. I think Queen's Park Rangers may prove to be a bit strong for them. I'm going to say 1-1. I'm going to say both these sides will get a result. FIFA 21 is backing Queen's Park Rangers with a 1-0 win. And then the final fixture to go through is Wycombe going up against Luton. Now, what's going on with Wycombe lately? They picked up 3 wins in their last 5 matches. 3 clean sheets in a row as well. 33 points. Can Wycombe pull off the Great Escape? My honest opinion, no. I don't think they've got enough games to save themselves, if I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. But one thing I know about Wycombe, Gareth Ainsworth, they don't give up. And it's fantastic for me to see that at the moment, with a great 3-0 victory against Rotherham as well. As with Luton, they've had back-to-back defeats now, but I don't really blame them, to be honest with you. They are in a mid-table position. They're not going to get relegated. I think they're kind of playing on the beach now. but I think they would like to get a response in this game. Now, with this game, Wycombe and Luton, I remember the reverse fixture so vividly. Luton got a 2-0 win, and Wycombe were actually pretty good and quite unlucky not to get anything. Oh my goodness me, I'm going to think 1-0, but I don't know which side to predict it, because Luton have been so renowned away from home to slam the door shut and get 1 goal within it. But with Wycombe keeping their clean sheets lately, oh, this could be 0-0. But I'm actually going to say Wycombe will get 3 wins in a row. I'm going to say a 1-0 victory to Wycombe. Why not? I've not backed them a lot in my score predictions, and FIFA 21 is also going to agree with me. So these are all my score predictions for this weekend's games in the Championship. Make sure you do comment your predictions in the comments down below. Now, to end off the video right here are my Premier League predictions going into this weekend. Make sure you predict those games in the comments as well. But that wraps it up for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, please make sure you do give this video a like. It's tremendously appreciated. If you haven't done, please subscribe to the channel. It would really make my day. Please share my channel as well. That is how I'm going to grow 500 subscribers before the end of the season to keep this channel alive. I believe in you guys. I think you guys can do it. But thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary if you saw the end of this video. And as always, take care, everyone.